everybody, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, I don't know about you, but I was so busy. And before I knew it, it was time to figure out, what am I going to make for supper? So actually, I just went into my refrigerator, opened it up, and looked to see, what do I have in there? And you know what I ended up making? A New Orleans style jambalaya made completely with leftovers. So I had chicken, I had some sausage, I had some beef sausage and pork, and I also had some shrimp. So those are my proteins that I added to this jambalaya, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make this for yourself. So let's take a look at the finished product. Looks delicious, doesn't it, y'all? And it's so easy. So come on and let's get to cooking together. Start with a half a stick of butter in your warmed up soup pot. And you're going to take about a third of your pre-chopped onion. This is one large onion that's been diced. And of course, you're going to stir your butter around. And it's okay for these onions to brown a little bit, because you'll see we're going to keep on adding vegetables to this. Now, to really bring out the sweetness, you can add ham. All I had was prosciutto, and so I just put one strip of prosciutto in the onions, and wow. I'm going to tell you, the finished product was fantastic. So if that's all you've got in your fridge, go ahead and add it. So we'll let this cook down for about 5 minutes, stirring consistently until it starts to brown a little bit. So you can see this is cooked down, and I've got kind of a debris at the bottom, which is really what you're looking for in your pan. And so I'm going to add another third of the onions. We'll add about half of these chopped bell peppers. And that was really just one medium bell pepper diced. And then 3 stalks of celery have been diced, and I'm just going to add half of that. Stir this around and let it cook down for another 5 minutes. And you want to stay with it, stirring consistently. And I'm really trying to scrape that debris off the bottom. It just adds so much flavor. So your vegetables have been cooking for about 5 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the onions, bell pepper, and celery, and we'll let that cook for a couple of minutes until they start to soften. So this is a dish, you do have to stay with it stirring in the beginning, but then once you add all the ingredients, you're going to be able to just put the lid on and let it simmer for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you'll be ready to eat. So I'm just adding in the vegetables. I'm going to stir all of that around. And you just want that beautiful flavor of the prosciutto or ham, whatever you're using, to permeate all of the vegetables. And to kick it up, I'm adding some Paul Prudhomme's, you know I love Paul, magic seasoning. And this time I'm using the Poultry. And simply because one of the basic meats in this is going to be chicken. And the chicken was not highly seasoned, so I decided to use the Poultry. So as you can see, the veg has been cooking down a little bit. It's getting soft, and that's where you want it. Think about it. We've added vegetables now 3 different times. Here we go with a teaspoon of minced garlic. And I'm going to stir that around for about 30 seconds. You don't want to overcook your garlic because it'll have a kind of burnt, not very nice flavor. So I've got some chicken stock ready to add, and we're getting ready to start putting in all of our meats. Here's what I had: chicken, 2 kinds of sausage. I had beef and pork, and also some shrimp. You can add oysters, you can add ham. Just be creative with jambalaya, because that's truly what it's all about with this delicious rice-based meal. So now that this has been kind of cooking down a little bit, vegetables are soft, we're getting ready to start adding all of the ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the beef and pork sausage. They were both cooked already, so I'm not going to add anything raw to this jambalaya. However, you can. In fact, I'll do a video where we make everything from raw, whether it's the chicken, the sausage, everything, and show you how to do this. But these are my leftovers. Got some chicken. We had that chicken the other night, and I had a lot left over. So this is a great way to not let things go bad. It's wonderful. So I'm stirring all of this around. Again, remember, it's all pre-cooked. So everything is fine to just let this simmer and bring out the flavor, warm the meat up. Then we start adding some stock. And I'm just going to start with 1/2 cup, because again, I'm after that debris. I want to get that cooked bottom, that little bit of browned element on the bottom of my pot, because wow, it just adds so much flavor. And now we're going to start adding rice. So you need 1.5 cups of rice. You can use long grain, you can use short, whatever you have in your pantry. I use rice that is actually grown in Louisiana. So good. Let's add a little bit more seasoning. Again, sticking with that Paul Prudhomme's. The poultry seasoning is so nice. And look, I'm going to give you a tip. It is the perfect thing to use on turkey. So next time you make a turkey or a turkey breast, grab some Paul Prudhomme's. Now, to give it that red flavor and that little bit of tomato taste, I'm going to add 2 types of tomato. First, some paste just to thicken it up, and then I've got these petite diced tomatoes. Again, take your time, stir all of this around, and let these flavors just marry together. That's what really makes a great gumbo. It doesn't take that long to put this together, maybe 30 minutes at the most, and then you just have to let it simmer for 30. But it's a really good practice to stay with it. Keep mixing those flavors. So now I've added in another cup of chicken stock. And hey, if you don't have chicken stock, you can use water. I would just amp up the seasonings a little bit more, because the chicken stock gives just an added flavor, an added dimension to your jambalayas and red beans and gumbos. You know, you really want to use a stock if you have it. So I'm adding 3.5 cups of stock. And y'all, we're almost ready to go. I've got a few more things. I'm going to add 2 bay leaves in there. Let me stir that around. And isn't that beautiful? Jambalaya is truly one of the most beautiful dishes you can make. And it's so simple, and people love it. So I'm going to add some cracked black pepper, and then we'll finish off with some kosher salt. And I'll bring this to a boil, and then I'm actually going to lower the temp, let it simmer, because we're basically just cooking the rice here and marrying all those flavors together. So it'll simmer for about 30 minutes. All right, we're 20 minutes into the simmer. Remember, you need to simmer this for about 30, but I'm going to add in my cooked shrimp. This is some bull shrimp that we had picked up at Rouse's and had a little bit left over, so it just adds one more dimension to this wonderful dish. So you're going to cover it up again and let it finish cooking for about 10 minutes, and then you're ready to eat.